Let's just jump right in. Welcome to this explainer on a meditative journey, the power of inner devotion. You know, we spend so much of our daily routines absorbing information, reacting to notifications, and just, well, doom scrolling. But the source material we're looking at today asks us to hit the pause button. It's an invitation into a meditative space, a vichar, or deep, intentional reflection. We're going to explore a part of ourselves that is profoundly quiet, yet, as you'll see, immensely powerful. So let your shoulders drop a bit and let's get into the fascinating power of inner devotion.
Okay, let's dive straight into this foundational truth from the text. Your emotion is the greatest power. Now, I know what you might be thinking. When we hear the word emotion today, we usually picture chaos, right? Like someone being overly reactive or just swept away by their feelings. But actually, scratch that, because the source text is pointing to something entirely different. It's talking about a deep, resonant inner state. We're not talking about fleeting feelings here. It's about the profound underlying current of who you are. When you channel that correctly through devotion, this emotional core literally stops being a vulnerability. It transforms into your ultimate driving strength.
So that brings us to our first main section, emotion is power, and unlocking the prerequisites. Now, a power this immense doesn't just, magically switch on all by itself. To turn that raw emotional energy into a real guiding force, our source text lays out 3 specific spiritual prerequisites. First up is truth. And hey, this isn't just about not telling lies. It's about bringing your real, totally unmasked self to your devotion. Second is the desire to learn. This is absolutely crucial because it keeps your heart and mind wide open, making sure you don't become rigid or start thinking you've got all the answers. And third, humility. This is the grounding element that basically takes the ego right out of the equation. And here's the really beautiful, quiet promise the text makes. When your devotion is genuinely rooted in these 3 traits, truth, the desire to learn, and humility, the paths of your life will slowly begin to open entirely on their own. No forcing doors open. They just naturally yield to your authentic state.
All right, moving on to our next section, devotion is no race, and exploring the reality of the spiritual path.
And this brilliantly illustrates a major trap we fall into. In our hyperconnected world, we have this really terrible habit of projecting our competitive anxieties right onto our personal growth. We end up treating inner peace like it's just another corporate ladder to climb. We approach spirituality as this frantic race to quickly become elevated or, spiritually high. It's like we're all looking for the ultimate shortcut to enlightenment, but the source provides the perfect antidote here. Devotion is actually a journey of slowly purifying the inside. It is definitely not a sprint to a finish line. It's a lifelong, steady process of gently washing away the dust from our inner selves.
Which leads us nicely into section 3, practice and consistency and navigating the inner journey. Understanding that this is a slow, gradual journey really helps us handle the day-to-day stuff. Because let's be real, you are going to experience fluctuations. The text does a fantastic job of normalizing this. It says that sometimes profound emotions will arise, but other times, the mind will feel completely dry and disconnected. Let's just pause and let that sink in for a second. If you've been expecting spiritual fireworks every single time you sit down to meditate, well, the text is speaking directly to you right now. Feeling dry or uninspired? That is not a failure. It's an equally valid, completely normal part of the whole practice.
So, if both the massive emotional highs and those quiet, dry lows are completely normal, how do we actually make progress? Well, the scriptures place the ultimate, supreme value on one single concept: consistency. It honestly doesn't matter if your heart is bursting with joy today or if you feel totally numb. What actually matters is that you just show up. Consistency is literally the anchor that keeps your boat steady, no matter how much the tides of your emotions are changing.
Now, let's get into the practical side in section 4, 2-minute self-reflection and building the habit.
So the crucial point is, how do we actually bring all this lofty philosophy down into our messy, everyday lives? The source text offers this tiny, highly actionable practice. Just 2 simple steps. Step 1, dedicate exactly 2 minutes every single night right before you go to sleep. Step 2, ask yourself one specific reflection question. That's it. You don't need to book a week-long silent retreat. You just need 2 minutes of honest, uninterrupted focus to recalibrate your internal compass. This tiny, focused habit acts as a massive catalyst for genuine internal change.
And here's the exact question you're going to ask yourself during those 2 minutes. I actually encourage you to reflect on this right now as you're listening. Where did I keep love, humility, and remembrance of God today? Think about it. Did you bring love to a super frustrating conversation? Did you manage to hold on to humility when you desperately wanted to prove you were right? Did you keep a quiet remembrance of something greater than yourself while you were just navigating your workday? Just this much reflection, done consistently day after day, brings about profound transformation inside you.
To wrap up our explainer today, I want to leave you with a beautiful final blessing taken directly from our source text. May God give you stability, right company, and beautiful emotions. Stability to remain consistent, the right company to support your growth, and the beautiful emotions that really fuel your journey. Because as we've seen, true inner power isn't about rushing. It's not about competing, and it's certainly not about forcing your feelings. It's about slow, humble, and consistent purification. So I'll leave you with one final thought to carry with you. When you lay your head on your pillow tonight, will you give yourself the gift of those 2 quiet minutes to ask where you kept love today?